Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 38 if I've done my maths right, and with it, our first game in charge of Sheffield Wednesday, our new club. We play Fleetwood, managed by Paul Warne, but let's not beat around the bush. This has been a disaster. I could not regret this decision more. We've made a big mistake, and we shouldn't have done it. We're going to talk about why in a moment. There's been a few instances which have shown us that this is going to be a disaster. But as it is, we're here and we've got to make it work. If you want to find out why we're here and you don't know already, you can find the last episode up in the eye above. Bit of a Job Bonanza special in the summer just gone. There's also up there a link to the Hemel Hempstead save where we had a big transfer special yesterday. But if you're looking forward to seeing what is likely going to be the undoing of all our hard work and our demise this season with Sheffield Wednesday, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. There's also 3 episodes a week from Cricket 22 at the moment. Please do check that one out in the eye above if you haven't already. And of course, there's links to the podcast channel, Festive Rambles coming soon, and of course the Twitch channel for regular live streams as well. But my word, what can we say about Sheffield Wednesday this summer? We joined nearly 2 months ago, and everything since has been an unmitigated disaster. Let me talk you through it, let me show you what's gone on, and we'll start with staffing, because we didn't have a director of football when we joined, and if there's one man in the world I would have picked to not have, it's the man that's come in. Those of you that are long-term viewers of the channel will know exactly why. Those of you that watched my first ever live stream on YouTube in FM20 will know why. It's because we have got a reunion with the one man I really didn't want one. The director of football at Sheffield Wednesday is Chris Casper. Famed for doing nothing when we were at Salford, never signed players. His attributes are actually alright. He's not a bad director of football, got a good personality, decent negotiating, his judgment of ability and potential, his mental stats, all great. However, he's been given a 2-year deal. That was about 4-5 days after we joined the club. Is there a date on here at all? 19th, 4 days after. We are now at the 8th of August, and the only way I can do this is to physically show you what's happened. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe me. Let's go ahead to the transfers. There's a lot to digest here. And let's start with the released players. Now, we knew about most of these. A lot of experience leaving the club, the likes of Luongo, Dunkley, Palmer, long-term servants, Marvin Johnson, an experienced winger, Matty Stevens, an experienced striker. We've lost a few players though. We lost a bit of beef in the squad and we thought we'd want a little bit of support for it. We've also lost a few on the permanent and loan front, as we'll see in a second. 7 additional players out so far. And the last one, on loan to Casper's former club Salford, has got my blood boiling. And I'll show you why in a minute. First though, Haji Noga has gone to Arbroath, a club we managed in FM Mobile this year, club we managed in the Head Coach last year. Decent defender, probably would have been a good backup for us. So, a bit surprised he went. We knew Deli Bashiro was leaving already. That was pre-agreed to Colorado. No surprises there. Matthias Vecino. You may remember him. He was that experienced centre midfielder. Great technically, but well over the hill physically. He's gone to Penarol for 190 grand. We can't really begrudge him that move because he wouldn't have been first choice for us and we needed the wages off the bill. Malachi Fagan Walcott, centre half who was well rated, but not very good attribute wise. He's gone to Ipswich for 110 grand. Again, not great, but when you look at what we've got left in the squad, perhaps a little disappointing that he's gone. He's gone to Ipswich, who I presume are a divisional rival. They're not. They're in the Championship. So he's got to step up. Can't begrudge him that, but maybe should have got a bit more money. George Williams has gone off to Australia, the experienced fullback. He was never good enough for this first team. We've then lost Tyler Donovan, the best youngster in terms of potential. He's gone on loan to Kidderminster. And then most annoyingly, I found a goalkeeper that was slightly better than the 2 already at the club. Andreas Olafsson. And he was loaned out to Salford the week before the season. And believe it or not, he was our best goalkeeper in League One, a side that's supposed to win promotion. And he has not been replaced. I am livid. We have not got any goalkeepers as good as Dover's number 2 now. How can that be in League One? How on earth has he decided to loan him out? And he's not made a bid for a keeper at any point this window. We have got a few additions to the squad, nothing that really stands out. But I am absolutely furious We knew McKinnon had come in a few days before us. The first signing after we joined was Quinn Coulson from Raith Rovers. Nothing like Raith in the Bangor City save last year, I'm afraid. 155 grand, a young winger who is an emergency backup at best. Yes, it's a small wage. Yes, he's a former Scotland under-19 international, but even if he reaches his full potential, he's only just good enough for the first team. It's a slightly disappointing one. And the problem with all of these signings so far is they've been selected as can provide cover, which would suggest he thinks the first 11 is good enough. And if he thinks that, it's going to be a very long relationship between me and Casper, and it's not going to be a pretty one. So that was the last one of last season officially. Let's have a look at the three this year. Jack Wadham from Swindon, £135,000. I mean, he's all right, but he's an emergency backup in the holding role. He's 2.5-star ability. Again, not massive potential. Swindon were in League 2, the National League, League 2. But he's not good enough to be in our first team squad. We've lost 6 or 7 first team players and brought in none. Yes, he's beefed the squad with a couple of backups, but it really isn't good enough. The other two, both youngsters, Sabo, a 16-year-old Hungarian who is never going to make it, let me tell you that, and Ibrahim Kone, a young right-back who's never going to make it. Again, I'll promise you that. So that has been the worst transfer window ever so far. If we have a look at the budget, still over 2 million, over 50 grand on the wage bill, but no sign of anything. Which means, if we go to our squad now, we have one goalkeeper who is 1.5-star ability, who is National League North and South standard, I would say. Let's see what the coaches put him as. Yep, good player for that level. It's embarrassment. We've got the few star players that were there before, the likes of Harvey White, Ayorfa, but still, this is one of the worst squads I've ever had in League One. What it does suggest is, one, that our Dover squad was absolutely phenomenal, and we can see why it won 2 promotions in a row. Kevin Wilkin didn't get the credit he deserved, and I owe him an apology for that first season. This, though, is utter tosh. If we have a look at the pre-season league expectations, we are supposed to finish in 5th with this squad, which perhaps suggests that the league is very weak, which might be a good thing. Ayorfa is one of the best 11 in the league, but we haven't got a lot of quality. We haven't got a lot of ability, and we're a long way behind Hull and Millwall. Relegated Birmingham are expected to finish mid-table, but I'm not sure that they're going to be that low down. And all in all, I wish I'd stayed at Dover Athletic. We'll take a look at them very quickly in a second too. But let me know where you think we're going to finish based on that. It's going to need to be a big deadline day if it's not going to be a disappointment. I'm almost looking at this as a parallel for those watching last year to Arbroath, where we played 14 games, we got off to a good start, avoided injuries, and then just took the first offer that came and got out. Because if we can do well at Sheffield Wednesday, it will enhance our reputation. Dover agreed to a coaching badge before we left, so we're training for our A licence. And I do believe if we get a good start, we have to run, because we are not going to be able to keep this up for a season unless Chris Casper has a big deadline day. Now, he can still redeem himself, but so far, I've never had a director of football in FM22 who's so casual, who's so laid back, and so reluctant to put offers in. Even in a Hemel save, where it's initiating them, we get 2 or 3 in a window. He's only offered for 1 senior pro, because the first one, Coulson, joined when our chairman was doing it. So he's only bought in Wadham, and he's not been good enough so far. Let's have a look at what Dover have done by comparison. Where are they expected to finish? Bottom. I don't believe that for a minute. Let's have a look at their squad. Have they signed anyone else since we left? Have they sold anyone else? David Campbell is their new manager. He comes in from Newport, where he was in non-league. I'd argue he's pretty similar to us in terms of stats. But this is what I want to see. What has Kevin Wilkin been doing? Not a lot is the truth of it. After we left, Keston Davis did come in. He then signed Bradley Gibbons as well, who is a decent backup winger in a position they needed. This season, though, it looks like they've sold a few, so maybe they've been disappointing too. Oh, God, look. Maybe we've got out of jail there as well. Will Andiapan sold for big money to Pompey, £250,000. He's arguably better than the 2 senior players we've got in so far in this window, which is the sad part of it. They've also loaned out Lucas Ness, which seems mad, but they did bring in a lot of centre-halves. And TJ Bramble's gone out on loan too, so little bit of a revolution there. Andy Appant, Ness and Bramble, all defensive players going out. But they did sign some early in the window, and I'm sure they'll stay up. You can mark my words on that one. But we've got to worry about Sheffield Wednesday. 2 friendly-ish games on paper to start the season. Home to Fleetwood in the league. Where were they expected to finish? They were expected 10th. So it should be a game we win at home if we want promotion. We're also playing Accrington of League 2 in the Carabao Cup first round, which should be a winnable tie also. We've got Liverpool under-23s, Bradford and Mansfield in the EFL Trophy. But our second league game is away at Millwall. And that's going to be one hell of a test. Let's get through the first though. This is the most important. I've set my tactic. I've done so much work on set pieces to try and help us. But there's only so much you can do when you're polishing a piece of poo, isn't there? Let's go and get George Miller's opposition instructions on and have a look at the lineup we've selected today. So I think you can probably tell from my demeanour, from my attitude, I'm a little bit downhearted here. I mean, look at the goalkeeper. It's pathetic, isn't it? The one slight positive is we've got McGarry back from a loan spell. He wasn't here when we introduced the club. He's not bad and he might be able to compete, but he's wanted on loan by League 2 clubs. And last season, he played for a National League team, so he's maybe not ready for League 1 football just yet. The rest of the squad and going forward is actually pretty decent, but we've not really played with a target man this year. We're trying something a little bit different. We're trying to play higher tempo. We're trying to play higher up the pitch. We're trying to take advantage of the fact we've got a fairly quick defence and a bit more ability going forward. If we can take advantage of that, get on the front foot, then perhaps we can nick a couple of goals. That's all we can hope for. We're taking the bold decisions to leave 2 up from set pieces to try and take chances when we can. I'm also trying Watmore as a Ramdoiter because he's lost a bit of pace now and that's what they're suggesting. If it doesn't work, we'll just go back to winger. But the lineup for our first game in charge is remarkably render between the sticks. Absolutely useless goalkeeper. Even give me the backup Matthew Hall from Dover. I'll take him. Olivan and McGarry are the fullbacks with Iorfa and Rashawn Williams at centre-half. Ideally, I would have had Iorfa right back and a good centre-half in, but we haven't had that either. Wadham makes his debut because we're that short in midfield. He is one of the best 3. White and Adeniran are the centre midfielders. Then Watmore, Lang and Ikpeazu the front 3. They're going to need to be in top form. We have got the likes of Fevrier on the bench if we want to change the game. And Paul Mullin is a poacher if we need him. But they're probably the only 2 that I'd rely on to make a difference. So let's get into the first game of the season. Let me know in the comments how on earth you think we'll get on. But I can't see it being particularly well. Maybe the rest of the league's just really weak. Let's cross our fingers and hope it is. It compounds the misery that Olafsson played virtually every pre-season game in goal and he was still loaned out. I'm looking at their team. There's not many players that are well known there. George McEachran, Alex Cairns the keeper. But a lot of that is regens. They have got Morgan Boys on the bench, star of our Bangor City save last year, and the likes of Sang, McCann. There's some good footballers in there, but they've made 3 changes from their last friendly. And for the first game of the season, we've just got to get the result. It doesn't even really need to be pretty. We'll see how the target man and Ramdoiter works. Hopefully well enough to get us results. Well, 15 minutes on the clock. Dominant in terms of stats, no highlights to suggest that we're going to create any good chances. We've had loads of the ball, we've had all the shots and we look decent enough defensively. But are we going to live to regret it? If we don't take our chances, we could be in trouble here. We've got a first highlight down by the corner flag with McGarry. Watmore, back to him again to Wadham. Into Adeniran. Back in again, McEachran nixed it from the challenge. McGarry plays wide again though. Back to Williams, the centre-half very advanced. To Olivan, to White. Chance to shoot, good effort off the post. Decent attendance by the looks of it at Hillsborough. You've got to give it to the fans for turning up. But we're not really giving them much to shout about so far. 11 shots, 5 on target, but no goals. And that's all that matters at the break. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0, and the visitors will be very happy with that. Can we break them down a bit more in the second half? Can we produce that chance? Cairns goes with the big kick over the top for Fleetwood. Williams brings it down. Chance to go to his left back. Instead plays into midfield to Harvey White. He finds Olivan to Lang. Through ball towards Adeniran. Makes the run from midfield. Tries to round the keeper but doesn't get there quick enough. We can't waste chances like that. It's a lovely move though. So we've got a corner kick on the right hand side. We put a lot of effort into these. White delivers. Lang loses out. We've set for far post and he's delivering them there. Very frustrating. 10 minutes gone in the second half. We're still being frustrated so far, though White finds Lang. Really poor cross. Blocked as far as Williams. He can bring it down the left to Olivan. It is all being played in the Fleetwood half. Be criminal if we don't score here as Duncan Watmore gets in. Good block over the bar. I thought it was offside to be honest. But Harvey White is finding those through balls. We just need them a bit more frequently. as it's into the box from White again. Hill heads away. Watmore will chase it down. Can we create another chance? Goes wide down the left. He's got pressure on him. So he goes back to Olivan and Williams into Wadham. We've not really got the changes off the bench either, have we? Ikpeazu as a target man hasn't really worked. We might have to play him in behind as Lang cuts in from the left. Where are the fullbacks overlapping? White finds him again. Lang to Olivan. Just getting a bit older now, struggling to get in behind. We're playing some wonderful football though. Just not got the final product. Williams forced back to Wadham, to White, to Olivan. Backwards again. Take a risk, will you? Someone take a chance. Wadham. Back to Iorfa. To Williams. And we find ourselves in our own half now. This has to lead to something, surely. Be a wonderful goal if it does. White finds Adeniran. In towards Lang. Through ball's poor. Holgate plays back to his keeper. It's under hit. And that might be the lift-off Ikpeazu needed. Wonderful stuff from him. He anticipated. And he slid in to give us the lead. And as long as Fleetwood only show the same threat as they have so far, they're not going to score. Olivan into midfield to White. He goes to Lang. Cutting in from that left. It doesn't really suit him. We might have to try and find a solution there, but we've not really got any good players. Olivan finds Lang. In from the left to Ikpeazu. Holds up well to White. Through ball to Watmore. Excellent run. Has to shoot. He's forced wide. Really poor touch. Drags it out though. He's still being closed down and eventually brought down for a simple penalty. Harvey White is the star taker, but Ikpeazu is the goal scorer. I want to get him confident, so let's give it to Uche Ikpeazu. Already got one. Don't make me regret this. Can he add a second to the score sheet? Ikpeazu steps up and sends the keeper the wrong way. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Fleetwood Town 0. This is a very nice start to the season. Got to do a little bit of work on creating chances. But so far, so good. As Olivan throws in from the left to Wadham. Flick down for Lang. Can we really rub salt in the wounds now and score a couple more? Not like that. Lang gets a little complacent. Wadham wins it back though. Fair play to him. Lovely little Cruyff turn and back to Iorfa. Got support out wide. Instead plays short to McGarry. He goes down the line to Duncan Watmore. Had a decent game so far in that Ramdoita role. Here's Iorfa. We're keeping the ball exquisitely. This is wonderful stuff as McGarry passes it straight to the opposition. Wonderful timing for a pass like that. As rendering goal. Not really been worked, thankfully. Gives it to Williams and Olivan. White out to Lang. He's got runners in behind. Ikpeazu's one. Adeniran's another. He's into the box. Oh, just wide of the post. It's been an excellent performance and with 25 to go, we'll go and make a couple of changes. So a couple of subs to be made. I'm going to take off Callum Lang for Fevrier on the left, who will just become a standard winger on support, maybe even on attack. We can try and push forward here. I'm going to bring on Paul Mullin for Duncan Watmore as the Ramdoita. It should suit him. I know it says it doesn't, but maybe even an inside forward. I'm going to leave him in that role for now, though. And then we're going to leave the third one another few minutes, because for now, we just want to enjoy the performance. 20 minutes to go. The subs have been made, and now we've got a corner with Harvey White. Adeniran heads in at the back post. We've sort of just pushed all the men out there. Him, Ikpeazu, and one of the centre-halves as well. I think it's Iorfa. We're just trying to really overpower them at the back post, get the overload in, and try and create goals, because we've got quite a big side here. With 10 minutes to go, I'm going to make another change. Adeniran is shattered, and we've got games coming thick and fast. So let's bring on Arthur Reed. He's going to be fine in that role for now. Hopefully, we can put some real gloss on this. 3-0, and it's been an excellent display. Though Sandoval's got a corner into the back post. Iorfa heads clear. Only as far as Matete. He can come down the left-hand side to Sandoval, the corner taker. Thought he was offside, but gets it into the back post. No linesman's flag. Miller back to Holgate. Into Gould. He's got two on the edge. Miller's one of them. Wonderful effort. Good block. Iorfa to the rescue. Holgate in again, though. O'Brien free header. And that's 3-1. Considering we've not conceded any chances in this game, very poor not to keep a clean sheet. So I need a second shot on target, but thankfully, it should be nothing but a consolation. Harvey White has won a free kick 30 yards out. Be lovely to make it 4. Here he goes, left-footed. Oh, it's a great effort. Off the woodwork, O'Brien hacks clear. We've got to throw on the left with Olivan. He gives it to Harvey White, to Fevrier. Out to Olivan again. White cuts inside, been a star man on the pitch for me. Ikpeazu plays off him to Fevrier. Out to Olivan. There's 3 or 4 in the box if he can deliver. I've got them on cross more often, the fullbacks, but not doing it at the minute. Arthur Reed, back to Iorfa. He comes forward into midfield, no pressure on him. Ikpeazu from distance, fancied a hat-trick. Just over the bar. Had the keeper worried though, it's got to be said. 4 minutes of stoppage time to play. They're almost up. We've got one more free kick. It's going to be a comfortable win. Can Olivan add some gloss to it? Left side of the box. Oh, wonderful free kick. 4-1 Sheffield Wednesday. The perfect start. Thankfully, we were at home to a mid-table team. But this squad needs improving, because as soon as 2 games come a week, we're not going to be able to cope. Excellent start though. We couldn't have asked for more. It's Sheffield Wednesday 4, Fleetwood Town 1. Now Chris Casper, get yourself to work. I'm not quite sure why all of the League One games are staggered over like 15 minutes. Is that something that's supposed to be happening in real life in 5 years, or have we just encountered a glitch? Because I can't ever see a world where that's happening. Certainly hope not anyway, from a lower league football point of view. There are some very good players being suggested in the scout reports. Yes, we'd happily take someone like that from Crewe. Go and do it, please. Let's have a look at Williams, who was the star man at centre-half. Fair play to him. He was a threat in the air. He was solid defensively, and we'll praise him all day long. And let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. It's not going to be long. We are going to come back for transfer deadline day, which should be, depending on when the bank holiday is, it might be that 1st of September. No, it's the Monday the 31st, so we'll come back for that one, and then either Wigan or Liverpool in the EFL Trophy. Where are Wigan expected to finish? They're expected 9th, so we'll show Liverpool, because it's a big team. I know it's only the under-23s, but I think that'll be an exciting one. We'll be able to see some of the new signings in action for the first time. There better be some on deadline day, and Chris Casper might be able to redeem his reputation with me. We'll wait and find out next time around. If you did enjoy this episode though, a positive start on the pitch, a very poor one off it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let's very quickly see what Dover's score was actually while we're here. They're in League 2. How have they got on? They have not played yet. Really weird the way these fixtures are panning out. I don't get this every 15 minutes thing. Someone's going to have to explain it to me. Is this something that's happened in your save, or am I just getting a bizarre version of Football Manager? If you want to stay up to date with the series, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Next episode is going to be so crucial. Whether we've got a squad ready to compete, or whether we're going to have to settle for creating a miracle to avoid failure. We have got a big fan base behind us though, 26,000 at Hillsborough for that performance. Hopefully we can give them a few more positive ones. In the meantime though, if you want to catch up with other stuff, we had our transfer special with Hemel Hempstead yesterday, a very busy one over there. That series will continue tomorrow at 3:30. And it's 3 a week from Cricket 22, our Ashes Test series. You can find that up in the eye above. There's also links to the Twitch channel and the football podcast for regular content over the festive period. But a massive thank you for watching, your continued support as always, and I'll see you next time for Transfer Deadline Day, a big one that's needed at Hillsborough.